Okay, so here is my test with the 12-gram Malossi rollers and the Malossi variator kit. Just a quick ride this morning. Took me about 30 minutes to get these switched out. It's really not a very long process. Okay, I can already tell that the pickup is a little punchier than with the 8.4s. I'm trying to find the right balance between all of the weights of the rollers for my kind of riding. Again, in the neighborhood, can't go too fast yet, but I'm also kind of taking it easy just to make sure that I have no transmission failure. Because, well, you know, I'm old and sometimes I forget to tighten something, but it's feeling pretty good. We'll get out here on this road that's a little faster. I just don't have a lot of time yet this morning. And at some point, though I dread it because I just got my gloves and jacket cleaned and my helmet, I will go try pulling that hill out there where all those bugs are. I can already tell that speed increase is not as fast with the 12 grams, but it is a little bit faster off the line, which is probably what I'm going to want in the end. Still seems to hold its speed pretty nicely. Just a lot better at hanging on to that speed with this Malossi setup than with the stock. Seems like I was always up and down on the throttle trying to maintain a speed. I'm going to go all the way down the bottom of this road and go up another road that is pegged at 45. We'll see what we can do there, and that might have to be it for a little bit. Unfortunately, some of us still work for a living, but only 2 more years. And well, I do own the company, so I guess I don't have to really be on time. It's not like I'm going to get written up or anything. And I know this sounds kind of weird, but the transmission sounds even quieter with this setup than the 8.4s. One thing you do get out of messing with rollers is your motor revs at different RPMs with different weights. So the heavier the weight, the slower the RPMs, if that makes sense. This just feels really nice. It's responsive. Hold my speeds. This just might be the setup. I kind of want to go take that hill now, but I don't have time. Because if it can do a real good climb with these rollers in, this will definitely be the setup. I do worry about having, you know, higher RPMs all the time. But I mean, let's face it, we all drive these things at full throttle all the time. Hopefully you'll find my videos worthwhile so that you don't tinker and mess too many times with yours. I've now gone into my transmission 3 times in a week. And you know, you don't want to keep buying parts either. I can already tell that the 8.4s are definitely faster, and I think the 8.4s are going to be better at the higher speed, but we'll see. Speed definitely climbs slower with the 12 grams. Well, there's 45 right there. Throttle is pegged, and I am not moving past there. Oh, maybe a little bit. Yeah, it's just super slow. So 46. So this isn't my, final test. I'm gonna have to take it back out on the causeway and up that hill just so I have equal comparisons. I guess that's what's going to be happening this weekend, or maybe one night this week, just to see if I lost some ground by swapping the roller weights around. I mean, it is a nice 45 right there. I mean, the engine sounds good. I don't feel like I'm over revving. And even though I can't get up to 50, I might be totally satisfied with this setup. So there's 46. And this is slightly uphill, but we'll take it out and give it the test so we have equal comparisons. The other thing that I have not done on any of these tests or anything is I have not tinkered with rejetting the carburetor or any of that kind of stuff. The 50 miles an hour is of course nice if you want it. I just am trying to find a nice balance for quick pickup and takeoff, and to be able to maintain the speeds around my area well. When we move, we are moving to an area that has low speed limits as well. So, 45, 48's still fine for me. But it does seem really responsive with the 12 gram rollers. And I know I've seen guys with all kinds of gauges and tests and all, and they're going out and looking at it scientifically. I am definitely not doing it scientifically. I am doing it by feel and sound only. I do like the faster takeoff, that's for sure, which is really what I want. I want to get up and get out of the way fast. And right now, this setup seems to have that. Okay, so I'm back out to Antelope Island to test the 12 gram rollers pulling the big hill. And it looks like today I have an audience of many, many buffalo. This big guy right here was actually standing in the middle of the road while I was getting my camera turned on. Yep, fun times for the buffalo. So while coming out here, of course, I had to do the 7-mile causeway stretch, and I did get up to about 48 miles an hour, which is about where I got on the 8.4 gram rollers. But it took me a lot longer to get to that speed than with the lighter rollers. I also noticed that the lighter rollers held my speeds, and I actually increased speeds going up some of these other little hills as I drive along on this road, where I actually lose miles with the 12 grams. So little bits of difference Can't say that that's really a deal breaker or not at this point. But I am curious to see how this does pulling the hill here. And here we are. And let's hit it. Doing 30 miles an hour right here. I'm holding 30 miles an hour. Sorry, 28. 27. I've now hit 25. I'm just getting to the steepest part. And it looks like it peaked out at about 23. Now I'm starting to climb again. 25. And 30. Okay, well, that was interesting. So on the stock equipment, I believe I pulled that at about 15. On the 8.4 rollers, I pulled it at about 25, 28. And it looks like I'm pulling it at about 25 here. The other thing that I noticed with the 12-gram rollers is that it was just a gentler pull, a gradual speed increase. It seemed to hold the speeds for a little bit longer before letting off. And we're just going to go down and we're just going to do it one more time, because that's what we did with the other rollers. And what I'm going to do at this point, when I'm done with this test, is I'm just going to ride it around for a little bit on the 12-gram rollers, and then I will make a decision on what I think would be the ones that I'm going to just use. Now, technically, you could swap back and forth as often as you wanted, depending on your environment. I do have a lot of hills where I ride, so the 8.4 ones are intriguing, but the takeoff is a lot softer. It does accelerate up to speed faster, and I've noticed with the 12-grammers so far that it has that punchiness. You hit it, it goes, but it gains speed slow and isn't quite the hill climbing capability. So here we go again. Almost at a standstill. Punching it. Almost to 30. Looks like 30. See, it just really holds it right there really well. It just really slowly drops its performance. Now I'm at 25. And about 23. And then of course I have to let up a little bit to make the corner. So it's not bad performance. I mean, honestly, either set, it's going to be better than the stock. And then I quickly get right back up to 35 miles an hour right here, even though I'm still kind of climbing. So that's kind of cool. I mean, it does feel good with these 12-gram rollers, and this just might be where I end up. Like I said, I just got to ride it around town, do some errands, just kind of see. I mean, honestly, to me, getting up and getting on the road and moving faster is more important than being able to climb a super steep hill or having fast acceleration, just because I think it's safer. Got a little Roadrunner running there. It just really is going to depend on your environment. Now, I do have a lot of scooter rides that I go with the group, and they do up around some lakes and some canyons, and I haven't actually tested either set yet up to the canyons, just because of all of the floodwaters. I mean, a lot of the roads are washed out, so I don't have an answer for just everyday road riding with normal hill climbing. I guess that can be tested later. So yeah, so I'm going to ride around like this for a little bit. I do have, just for fun, I have a new and improved shock coming for the rear that I'm going to put on. I just can't seem to stop buying little add-ons for this thing. And it does make for good videos to have some things to talk about. Eventually I'm going to run out of those little things to add on. So I had somebody comment to me on the channel that said, what are you doing to that thing? Because that bike should be doing 52, 53 miles an hour easily stock. And I'm not going to argue that. I think that's probably true, but I think there's some caveats. I'm at 4,200 feet elevation, and a lot of these folks who are posted, I mean, they're at 500 feet, or at sea level. They're in Florida and other places. I really do think that elevation has some impact. I also have not messed with my muffler. I have not messed with jetting. I have not opened up that Wells plug on my carburetor and done anything with the air fuel mixture settings. And maybe there's some improvements in some of those things. I don't know how far I want to go with all that when it's technically just fine the way it is. We'll just have to see. It might be a winter project. So I don't know if anybody wants to chime in and make some recommendations, or agree that my elevation's a possible problem, or whatever. I'm always happy to listen and try things. Okay, I've got one buffalo up here moving my way. And he's just going to stop right in my path, because that's what they do. Well, gonna go. Got a calf, better wait, make sure she gets across. Okie dokie. Fun times at Antelope Island.